Boom, 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 boom. I'm already live. I'm already live. I'm thinking of that song where he says, "Why do they lie?" Well, I know why they lie. But I'm already live, and I'm going to find a song to play while the room fills up and we wait for someone to join us through the essence of Earl. I'm not even going to take the time to make a tiny Earl link because we all know what the essence of Earl means. It's become its own idea. It's an egregore, so you know what I'm talking about. Here it is in the chat. And so now I'm going to play a song. It's a good morning. We're all going to feel really good about ourselves, right? It's a good morning. And it's going to be good.
We're living in the Twilight Zone. We're living in the Twilight Zone. These crazy days that we live in just cause me aches and pains. Lately my life is like a season of Stranger Things. This place is flooded with demons and they invade your brain. This is an artificial hell and they create the flames. Day to day I just try to stay strong and make it through. Wake people up from their slumber, that's what I came to do. Please don't believe what you see on TV and think it's true. It's all just targeted programming and it's aimed at you. It's everywhere, you're getting lied to and yet you barely care. People with common sense are now very rare. But the way that they brainwash you isn't very fair. They can shove that mind control programming up their derriere. I do not consent to the way they tailor society. Ain't no variety. Plus I really hate when they lie to me. I use music as a tool to release the anger inside of me. You don't know how fucking crazy it's driving me. That we're living in the Twilight Zone. They claim you have freedom but they don't honor it. The world is a prison and you're the occupant. We're living in the Twilight Zone. The government's useless and they're incompetent. And satanic pedophiles are prominent. We're living in the Twilight Zone. The things that you believe are the total opposite. And being called crazy is just a compliment. We're living in the Twilight Zone. It's ran by the New World Order conglomerate. But there's a storm coming and there's no stopping it. We're living in the Twilight Zone. I ask myself, why do I even bother? Cause people are just like sheep that are lining up for the slaughter. If they're killing rats with fluoride, then why is it in the water? They're using the news to fool us, divide us so they can conquer. The longer you stay asleep, then the longer I'm gonna scream at you. I can't believe you let them deceive you, it's inconceivable. I won't stop until you wake up and do what you need to do. This world is overran with an evil that is unspeakable. Most people don't know, so they just vote and pay taxes. The devil's hiding in the shadows and controlling their actions. And they think that the earth is a spinning globe on its axis. But I don't have any time to devote to this madness. I have nobody to relate to, so I ride alone. Just me and all these wild thoughts that are inside my dome. I feel like I don't belong here and I can't find my home. I'm tripping and I'm wishing it was different, but we're living in the Twilight Zone. They claim you have freedom, but they don't honor it. The world is a prison and you're the occupant. We're living in the Twilight Zone. The government's useless and they're incompetent. And satanic pedophiles are prominent. We're living in the Twilight Zone. The things that you believe are the total opposite. And being called crazy is just a compliment. We're living in the Twilight Zone. It's ran by the New World Order conglomerate. But there's a storm coming and there's no stopping it. We're living in the Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. We're living in the Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. We're living in the Twilight Zone.
We're going to put on Free Mac. How about that? Oops, that's the wrong one. You guys, I put the link in the chat if you want to join me for an Essence of Earl. I'll make the tiny URL link in a second. Alright. I was just trying to put it on the browser that's already sharing. Let's see if this works. Christian Knapp.
Would you wonder just what he did? He stuck up for his right to live and breathe, and didn't comply with some government shit. They use it fear to control us, sheep. What people will believe is quite insane. But this guy's in jail for standing up for the truth. Flat Earth Blocker is his name. Oh, Flat Earth Blocker is his name. He's the face of resistance. Man is fighting for you and me. Sacrificing everything he's got to fight the unjust authority. It's easy to see right through this COVID hoax, but they want to make an example of him. Well, that's gonna do just whatever it takes to make sure these bastards never win. Oh no, these bastards are never gonna win. These bastards are never gonna win. We love you, man.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm going to put the Tiny Earl link in the chat. I managed to score Tiny Earl Poppycock 777. So here it is on the screen, and that's how you can join me on the show. My first guest is Waters Above. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I just woke up. First time I'm talking.
Me too. Well, I started about an hour ago.
Well, I heard you over there, but this is the first time I'm hearing myself and realizing everybody's hearing my morning voice. So good morning, everybody.
I know how it is. I deal with that too. Good morning to everybody. So who's here with us? We've got Blue Pill, Marlo. Marlo, are you Elizabeth Marlo? I just want to make sure. And if you're not Elizabeth, then I'm so glad I asked, because I just want to know however many Marlos there are. And we have Tracy and Anne and commercial sound and video, and artist known as Lisa and Kelly F.E. and Gaynor. Let me go back down because I went back up to, oh, No Despair Bear. How's it going? No Despair Bear got to hang out at the Solar Return, and we we went into a business and we were basically refused service together because we wouldn't put on a mask. And oh no, she left. That sucks. So we wouldn't put on a mask, and then Jen left. But anyway, so I'm glad that we had that memory together. We had the memory of being denied the service and turning around and calling the poppycock on the whole damn thing. Oh my gosh, that so sucks that Waters Above left. And so anyway, I have the stream on here, and I guess I'll just play a song until someone else joins, and I'll keep the stream going a little bit longer in case someone's like trying to... Oh, is she back? Okay, she's back. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
So what's on your mind? What's on your mind this morning?
What's on my mind this morning? I just wanted to call in and say hey.
Well, you told me that you wanted to do a stream with me a while back because unfortunately your father-in-law passed away, and you said that you wanted to talk about it.
I do. So we can talk about that now, I suppose.
Yeah, get it off your chest. Tell me what happened and what it is you wanted to express and put out there.
Right on. Okay, so for those of my father-in-law has recently passed, and it was very unexpected. And I will say that on February 2nd, he received the first jab from Pfizer, and then received the second one 3 weeks later, and then he died just a week after that, after his second jab. And he was 66 years old.
66.
He was 66. He was, pretty healthy. And, I just wonder if this wasn't because of that. Obviously, we don't know. My husband did want an autopsy performed, and, tried getting in touch with his doctor for several days to approve the autopsy. And his doctor, after many days, finally got back to my husband and basically said, well, what you really want is the VA benefits, right? And basically talked my husband out of the autopsy, right? Because if the autopsy showed anything, the doctor was implying that the benefits then may not be paid out. So they decided not to do the autopsy. So we'll never know. So there's that. So that was a little upsetting all by itself.
Of course, that is absolutely terrible, and I'm so sorry for your loss.
Well, it's been rough because now my husband has to step up into the role of caretaker for his own mother, and also his brother, and so my husband's in a role of much more responsibility, and he works as well. He has a job in the mainstream, and he has not received any jabs himself. I hope that continues to be the case, but he is not necessary. He won't make me any promises that he won't get it himself either. And he doesn't have the same outlook that I do about all of this, for that matter. And so, my husband wears the mask to work and all of that, and he wears the mask everywhere. We don't see this the same at all. So even talking to him about his dad and the possibility of it being, his death being caused from the vaccine, perhaps, right, as just me mentioning that, he doesn't even want to talk about that. So that's, that's really upsetting too, because here he is, he's dealing with the loss of his dad and all the responsibilities that he's taking up, and can't process the grief and can't even consider that, maybe it was something unnatural.
It must be so frustrating for you that the people that you love don't make the connection. Kind of like what Baldini and I were talking about just now. It's just like, how do people not see? It's insane.
I know. It is. It is. I used to just wonder why people can't see. And I really think, Rose, what sets us apart in our community and those that see is that we have a love of the truth. And I think that you have to love the truth before you can see any of it.
Question for you. Do you think that in order to love the truth as much as all of us do, that we have to have an equal amount of hatred for being lied to? Like, here's a good question for us in the chat. Like, has everyone in here like been lied to? Well, we all know we've been lied to, but I mean, in order to be ready to figure out all the big stuff that we know we've been lied to about, like we, got screwed over and lied to in little ways before that, like early in our lives. Is that just me? Or like, I don't want to be taken for a fool anymore, ever again. Right, Jen? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me share a short story. So when I was 6 years old, right, first grade, went back to school after Christmas break, wanting to tell the kids what I got from Santa and everything. And there's a little boy in my class that I had a crush on, Mike Harrison, and he told me Santa wasn't real, it's your parents. And I was like, what are you talking about? Right. So I went home and I confronted my parents and I asked my mom. I remember coming in the living room and I had gotten for Christmas a pen bracelet, and it was pink with red stripes, and it was a pen that would clasp to itself as a bracelet. And when you took it off, you could write with it, and it had strawberry scented ink. It was the coolest pen bracelet. And I ripped it off my wrist and I threw it across the room and I said, "You lied to me." I was so mad. I was so angry. I was so pissed that my parents had lied to me, because my dad especially had told me repeatedly as a child, "Daddy would never lie to you. I always tell you the truth about everything. You can always ask me anything. I'll never lie to you," right? Daddy doesn't lie to you. I don't lie to you. And I was just pissed that they had lied to me. And
you always hold on, wait, really quick question. You always wanted to sit at the big kids table, the adult table at the family gatherings, right? Like, I wanted to be an adult and be respected as a critical thinker coming up as a whatever year old. I wasn't lied to about Santa or anything, but I'm just asking, you like to be at the big kid / adult table growing up?
Well, I was the oldest child in my family, and I was the oldest cousin on my dad's side of the family. And so
Me too.
I did just always think I was big. Yeah, I just, and I always hung with the grown-ups and got in their grown-up conversations even at that young age. Yeah.
Wow,
totally.
me too. I was the oldest child and the oldest cousin on my dad's side.
Same exact.
What? Totally. I feel like, Yeah, we both have that vibe. So that's interesting. And this is what Baldini is all about in trying to analyze, the commonalities between people like us who can see it because we're so freaking fascinated by the behavior of these farm animals that are like forgeries of humans. It's crazy. Oh, we have okay, I just want to let you know, I don't know if you can see this on your end, but we have Salty Water Bear, but the devices aren't connected. So there's some technical difficulties there. Let me just see if there's anything to see in the private chat. Oh, okay. I'm going just listening. Okay, wait, let's see here. There's actually a written question. Wait, Salty Water Bear, I think it's okay for me to read this. I'm just going to make a judgment call here. I'm on my work PC and pretending I'm working, LOL. Love it. I love it. Just listening to the gravy. By the way, I work in a Boston hospital and I did an affidavit to get out of the mandated flu shot this year. So thank you guys for that language. Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo-hoo! I did want to ask you, if you get a minute, if you know what episode of Crow is the one on Michael. That's a really good question because it's actually not an episode. He just references it all the time. And then when he does, I get 100 emails and I send you the link to the YouTube video and I'm going to show you how to find it now. And then we're going to get back to of course, I'm sorry about this, but do you mind if we just show this, if I get this link really quick, Jen?
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Share. And then we're going to go to, oopsie, not there. We're going to go here. So this is how you find it. The Michael video that everyone wants to know what the heck he's talking about, where he explains that the movie Michael is really not about an angel, but an angle. So it's about the sun crossing the sky, and it's a 1-to-1 direct ratio, or whatever you want to call it, to the zodiac. But they mix it up in different, they don't do it so obviously, but anyone who understands the symbolism, it's so obvious. And so he points that out. Okay, I need to start actually reading these. Let's see, I think I have the thumbnail memorized. Let's see, the angels, the angles. Oh, nope, okay. No. Crap. I thought this was going to take me a lot faster, but I'm going to spend 10 more seconds looking. At least I got down this far. Oh. Okay. Shoot. I thought it was going to be really easy to find, but there's so much freaking telescope work. Ah! Is it more down here now? Here we go! Woo! I made it. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. It was worth it. It's worth it. I just want to give this to you. Here. All right. So now this is what you have been looking for, along with so many others. I'm going to put it into the private chat here, and then I'm going to put it into the regular chat for everyone. So again, this is Crow's breakdown of the movie Michael and how it's a symbolic representation of the zodiac, and that's the angel part is just a surface narrative. All right. Okay, back to you, Waters Above. We are now going back to the frustration of and comparing the behavior of the people that can't see it. So.
Yes, and the reason I shared the story of learning about when Santa was alive, and that my parents had lied to me, is because that was so traumatic for me. And from that moment on, I hated lies. I mean, I never wanted to be lied to again. I felt foolish. I never wanted to be a fool again. I always wanted the truth. And I value the truth so highly. And I think that's really what sets us apart, is that we really care about the truth. We want to know the truth regardless, right? The truth isn't always easy. It's not always pretty. It's not always pleasant. but it's always true.
Exactly. And
And
it's
I'd rather know.
unchanging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather know and have the consequences of just preserving, who I am. I am an individual. I am not a sheep to be, herded in a certain direction. I want my thoughts to be my own. And that's why it's really frustrating to look at all of the poppycock in news and stuff. And I mean, I just can't even barely look at it anymore. I'd rather just hear it from other people verbally. Like, just, it's so frustrating. But anyway,
Yeah,
what
regarding
else?
the news, well, when I almost 30 years ago, okay, because I'm 44, and when I was 15 years old, I made a conscious decision to not watch the news because I realized how depressing it was and how it made me feel. And I made a conscious choice at that tender age not to put that into my brain, not to put that into my eyes, not to put that into my ears, to not look at that. And I really think that has also saved me, right, from being so brainwashed and being pulled into the poppycock that so many people get just carried away with, just carried away.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I'm not in a situation where I'm forced to be exposed to it. Like right now, Crow is taking care of his mom all the freaking time, and she watches television, and he says that they put on I don't even know what this is. It's like called Steve Reeves, or is it something like that? And then 2.5 Men. And it's just crazy to me because I forgot that 2.5 Men was even a show. And it just made my brain flash back to like a certain year. Like, I don't even know what to say. Was it like, I'll just say like 2008, or I don't know. It's just like, and it was just interesting to me that even though I never watched it, I just hearing the words, it just like brought me back. And I think that's like tied into nostalgia programming, because even though I didn't even watch the show, I can tie the name of it to like a certain time in my life when I guess I must have been hearing about it more, or maybe even just flipping through channels, like sitting on my couch flipping through channels. It's like, that's sad. Out of all the beautiful memories that you could have in life, why am I suddenly remembering like a time? Can you still hear me, or I just heard a weird thing?
No, I'm here.
Okay, good. Why am I like remembering a time I sat on my couch? And another time I can remember, and I don't even know if this is just me. Do other people just like remember back to random memories that don't even matter? Like, I remember a time when I played an Xbox game called Minecraft in the Netherlands, and I just remember sitting on my friend's couch. It's like, why do we remember sitting on our friends' couches and watching television and playing games? We should be focusing on things in the real world, but that's just my opinion.
Well, the brain and memory in general is really interesting anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Do you ever think about it like it's an onion, and that like sometimes you can just access different layers and it like peels back? Do you think it's like more like a filing cabinet? Sometimes I imagine like a football field and there's all these people on it that I care about it. Like, you're on the football field. Like, I can visualize the football field and even just see you in Zulu. And if I wanted to be all silly, I can even imagine you guys in the form of how he puts your faces on your thumbnails. You know what I mean? And then like in another part of the thing, I'll be thinking about some other total inside joke related to someone's face in order to remember them. But I always wonder what's going on in everybody else's brain. So in the way that I just described the confines of my mind, is there any way that you could try to reveal the confines of your mind and how you think about things?
Well, I think that everything that we've ever perceived is in there, right? But it's just not all accessible. That's how I think of the brain.
But when you try to, when you're here, when data is coming into your brain and you're processing it and you're storing it and you're listening to me talk right now, like inside your brain, are you remembering other things and thinking about other things, or is that a symptom of my insanity?
No, my brain is always is always going, number
Okay.
one. And it's funny because I've talked to different people about this and about how my mind thinks, and I've always said, like, I don't think other people's brains all work like mine either. So
But is it
I don't
also a
know if
woman
that's good
thing?
or bad, but my mind is always going. And I am constantly making connections in my mind, like just constantly making associations. And I
Yes,
think
yes,
that's,
pattern recognition.
yes, I'm very good at patterns. I love math and language. I've always been really good at that because math is a language too. And I'm really good at seeing patterns. Really good I have a really good memory, and I think it's because I always make a lot of associations, so it's real
Right.
easy. Um, yeah, I'm fascinated. Okay, so I actually have my bachelor's degree is in education. So I actually studied learning and memory, and I actually minored in academic psychology. So I've studied all about how the brain works and how it stores information and learning and memory, and just it's fascinating. I've always been interested in it. Yes.
That is badass. So you have a lot of good information and like observing different methods of different models of teaching, like the difference between like B.F. Skinner and Freud and Jung and
Yes.
Piaget and all of the different. And then also, wait, tell me something. When you got your education degree, did they focus a lot on the paperwork and just like the bureaucratic stuff that you would have to do if you were going to be a teacher? And did you ever work as a teacher?
So I did work as a teacher. So I
Ooh.
studied elementary education at the University of Florida, and they had an excellent program when I went to school there. Um, Excellent teachers modeling for us how to teach, when we became teachers. I had an excellent program. I did not go into teaching right away, though. I graduated back in 2000, a long time ago now, and I just felt like I wanted some more growing up to do before I was the main role model in my students' lives. So I ended up working at University of Florida as an academic advisor and recruiter in some different jobs. But then I did go into teaching in 2006, and I taught second grade in the public school system, and I loved the children. That was the best part. So when was at UF studying, no, they didn't go into a lot of the paperwork stuff that would be involved. But as a teacher, of course, it's just a lot of that. And that was my very least favorite part of the whole job, was all of the just bureaucratic BS, right? Um, the parents were fine, the children were great, and my fellow teachers, unfortunately, for the most part, even though they were, nice people, a lot of them, they um, they didn't work together a lot. Like some of them worked together with each other, like there were little cliques, right? But no one helped me. And as a first year teacher, it was really hard. And I was assigned a mentor who was not even teaching my grade level. It was just really silly. I wasn't given much support. I burned out a little bit. I did the whole first grade, or the first year where I taught second grade for an entire year. I went back the following year to teach kindergarten instead, and I left after a few weeks. And I part of that was the principal and lack of support in general, and part of it was the commute, and part of it was my personal life. But honestly, I'm glad that I left the system, and I haven't actually worked in a lot of years, and I am able to homeschool my own child. So that's wonderful.
Amazing. Well, that's makes it all worth it. You know
And
what
I
I
tell you
mean?
what, yes, I do, because even when I was studying elementary education, even back then, I knew that what I really wanted was to have my own family and to
Oh,
homeschool my own child. Like I knew that's what I wanted. I thought I would have
right.
multiple children. I just have the one, but that's okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, so based on what you truly know about being a fantastic mom who totally, wants to raise free thinking human beings, what do you think in reality, like being that, we do have functioning humans? I'm just trying to be as objective and, unbiased as possible here, but I fucking hate the really elite, so you know where I'm going to lean towards. But what do you think of the whole Prussian model of education where kids are sitting in a classroom and, a teacher in front and, sharing information in this way, as opposed to, everyone just like playing outside in a jungle and interacting with nature and just talking like what we're doing right now? Is there, I mean, I am such an I'm an efficiency hoe. I love efficiency and time management. So believe me, I loved that model of education on a personal note, and it worked for me in terms of memorization and regurgitation, and some things it did help me. So sorry for that whole spiel, but I just wanted to frame that up so that you can just tell me everything you think about that.
Right on. Okay, so even before I started teaching, I knew that it wasn't completely natural, but when I was a teacher, I could see just how unnatural it was, the desks and everyone's separate and the teachers at the front. And um, I don't think that's how people are how people learn best. Also, you and I think are really similar, and also how we were in school, that worked for me too, right? But it doesn't work for everybody. And
Right.
when I say it's unnatural, it's, there are different styles of education, right? Like the Waldorf style of education, for example, that is where you're learning through play, and they don't even start the academic stuff until second grade in those kinds of schools. And I don't think that you need to wait either necessarily, though, and I think that it does depend on the individual child, right? I mean, everybody learns different, and children and people learn at different paces. Um, so the traditional, modern classroom where the children are all the same age and they're grouped together just because they happen to all be born at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're all at the same developmental level just because they're the same age at that young age. So I don't think it's natural. I don't think that it is the best practice, but I think that when you're outnumbered, that in a classroom, teachers don't know what to do sometimes. I think that there's not enough training to try to do alternative uh, groupings, right? A different dynamic, and a lot of the public schools they don't support that individualism either.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is like a time management thing. It's like, okay, everyone needs to conform so that we can implement this information within this specific time period, because we need to test all together at the same time so everyone can move on together. And it does not make sense to me. I loved being in the first and second grade because it was two classes together. And, that was also happened to be my favorite teacher. So when I remember being in the first grade, I really looked to the second graders for as examples, and I remember analyzing like what are the successful people doing, like who are the people that seem to be getting the better I was just analyzing how to model what the outcome that I was looking for. And then when I was in second grade, I loved helping people and just trying to spread what I had learned and give my advice. Even if it was just teaching a friend how to make a dog ear in the journal, or showing my friend that there's two different ways that you can write a little a, and I don't even know why I remember those little things. Or another thing is that the teacher put on the wall that on one piece of construction paper, the letter A, and another piece of construction paper, lot, to help us remember a lot, and so I actually use that going forward, like forever, and it's just, I love the idea of in communities, let's like as above so below, let's expand it out into society, where the elderly people who are starting to kind of lose it, it would be better if their brains were more activated and interacting with the young kids, and then that removes even the need to have some strangers who are just in it for I'm not saying that all teachers are in it for money, but I'm saying they're doing that method of teaching because that's their job. Like, I think that all natural born teachers, they're weighing the options, like, okay, I'm going to conform to this method of teaching because this is how I'm going to gain access to the next generation. You know what I mean? But in a better world, I imagine the total jungle tribal situation where people figure stuff out together and share information as needed. And it's like the idea of an apprenticeship. Like, in an apprenticeship, it's a certain amount of time and it's assumed you're going to gather that information within that time period, or you can just keep going until you have it. What do you think of that?
Right. And and you're talking about when you were in, you have a multi-age classroom with
First and second grade.
Yeah, there is such an advantage to that, especially at that age group. And I didn't personally attend a classroom like that. And then, when I taught class, it was just the second grade class. But there are some schools that do that, and that there is a real advantage to that, because as the students, especially at those primary years when they're at the various levels, they can, instead of waiting, right, they can help then the ones that are on the level, they can help the ones that aren't yet to get caught up, instead of them just being bored. They have something to do too. Yeah, there's such an advantage to that. And it's a natural way of learning too, right? Children learning from each other.
Agreed. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. I'm still getting over the hug from my vaccinated mother,
Oh my goodness. Right.
Fucking crazy. Well, I want to close out the show in about 10 minutes, I would say. So I'm just putting it out there that if absolutely anybody is listening to this right now and wants to join by going to tinyurl.com, which I like to call the essence of Earl, because I like to say Earl instead of URL, /Poppykerk 777. You can join, tell us a story, tell us what you think of education, anything funny that you have on your mind. If you want to test out a joke, see if you could, whatever, like anyone who feels like talking, now is your chance to click on that link and say hi, because we're just reaching towards the end. But let's get back to waters above here. What are this is something that I was wanted to talk about on the Poppykerk report this morning, or wonky clock, whatever we called it. What are your hopes for the future? Do you agree with Baldini and I? And if so, what more would you have to add to the whole idea of community living?
Oh, wow. My hopes for the future, what more would I have to add, and what are my thoughts for community living? I think that it would be great to be part of a community living experience where there are real people who want truth and love truth and love one another and care for people and want to help people. I think that would be amazing. What was the other part of the question?
Well, you just answered about the community. You did a really good job of repeating the unnecessary amount of questions I asked you all at once, which was the community living, and then now I have to remember my own questions. So this is karma kicking with my own ass. But you're just hopes for the future. So we all love community living, but it's actually kind of two separate questions because for you personally, I don't know if you're interested in like picking up and joining a commune set poppy seed situation up in this motherfucker, or if you just love the idea but you're gonna do something. Oh, she just left. Oh my gosh, how awkward. Well, it's a good thing that Nachiketa and Christian joined, and I hope she comes back. I hope she comes back. But hello, my friends. What's going on, guys?
Yo.
Rose,
Good
what's up?
morning.
What's up, Christian?
Finally,
Hey,
I'm
Nach.
so glad you made it because we've been meaning to talk for so long. I just haven't been able to. Every time that you're like, whenever you're free, I'm just like, hi, as soon as possible. So now we are together finally.
All good.
What's going on?
Much love, Nach. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you guys all doing?
Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. We're just
Hello.
talking about
Can you guys hear me?
education. Yeah, but I guess there must be a lag.
Yeah,
There is a
probably.
little choppiness.
Yeah,
I'm
my
not
internet's
sure if
been
that's-
kind of acting up.
Hey, Waters, I just
Maybe
wanted
I'll
to
come
say-
back. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll try. I dropped out by accident. I'm sorry.
Christian, go ahead. You speak next because there is such a lag, so I'm just spending extra time with this sentence so that while I'm saying this sentence... Oh, wait, we're the only ones left. So now I'm going to stop talking.
Oh man, I feel so sorry for Waters and the situation, with her father-in-law. That just is really crazy when people in your life are not making connections that are so obvious. You just see it amongst people where they're just not making the connection, and it's the brainwashing is so deep that they cannot see the link between the cause and action reaction with what's going on. A healthy person just like quickly taking a downturn like that is just too coincidental. It's just way too coincidental. Anyway,
Yeah.
Waters, I wanted to express my condolences to you and what you might be going through, and the fact that there might be a whole bunch of people not on the same page with the science around all this stuff, and now you have to kind of do battle with your own family. I'm in the same thing with my mom, and luckily I've been able to convince her to like see that this is like satanic, and that it's a big breakthrough for her, because honestly she's gone along with so much stuff, but now she can see people in her own church just completely falling for something that she now considers satanic. And that was a very hard thing, because she's got another son, my older brother, who's a doctor in the medical system, and basically she had to get information from me and from him, and like I was able to convince her that this is nothing that God would want, a complete bypassing of all of your internal organs that process toxins and everything like that, injecting things that consist of fetal cells and things like that, completely anti-God, what's going on, And so I have also been able to talk my in-laws, my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, into seeing the how bad this is, and they get pressure all the time. They get pressure from people coming into the house all the time. When are you going to get yours? When is it? And they just can't have that conversation with anyone. They just are like, stop right there. It's and that's good to know that the elderly folks in my life can see it, but there are a lot of folks that are just not able to see the deception, and they go along with it, and then their own family can't see that there's a link between a health downturn and the jab. The brainwashing is too deep. So I feel sorry for her, and I'll be thinking about her. Waters. that is.
Christian, thank you for saying that. Yeah, it has been hard, and yeah, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I know what you're going through, and this is a mind battle, you know. This is like uh, trying to get people for it's gotten, you know, it's gotten to the point that their life is on the line. Their brain, the things that they're being told will actually kill them. And, you know, are willing to see through the lies in order to preserve their life? And you know, you just see a lot of people just happily going off the cliff, you know, and saying, "Oh, just one and done." But I'm also a part of a group here in Massachusetts that we're all on Facebook, and we're kind of getting ready to fight the governor on all kinds of mandates that he's possibly going to be putting on schools for, you know, vaccinations and stuff. And so we are, you know, the group is getting really big, and everyone's going around showing themselves freely breathing in businesses like Trader Joe's. You know, it's great to see a lot of people taking selfies in Trader Joe's with them completely barefaced, you know. And it's like I haven't gone in Trader Joe's for the longest time because of what I've been hearing about people and how places like that are just absolutely the worst. But now people are reporting that they're getting a lot of good looks, you know, from people. The people that own the businesses are saying right on, you know, even though they have to put the signs up and stuff, they're starting to really love seeing people come in, you know, barefaced. And
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people in Massachusetts are starting to rise up, and they're starting just by beautiful pictures that they're posting. And it gives me a great feeling when I go on to these pages and I just see one post after another, just shopping at the grocery store with a big smile on their face, skin looking good. You know, obviously they're getting the right amount of oxygen. It's so counter to what we've been seeing in all of these Facebook posts and stuff like that over the past 15 months that it's so refreshing. So you know, I don't want to necessarily be like all rosy about stuff that's going on. You know, I'm a realist and stuff, but I do believe that uh, I do believe that the older folks in my life have been able to see it, and you know, it just takes a little time because the news is starting to come out on a lot of things. You know, people are starting to hear bits of information, and it's starting discussions about what is actually in these things are starting to happen on actual mainstream radio and stuff, which in the past they were never talking about this. You know, I think they believe that they're probably over the hump as far as getting enough people convinced to go and get it. And the people that have gone and gotten it so far, they're probably, no matter what you would have told them, they would have gone and gotten it. Like, we're kind of fighting
Right.
for the people that are on the fence, you know, like the people that are considering, you know, the ones that just immediately jumped at the opportunity to get it. Those people, there was never anything that we could do. The wheels were in motion long time before 9/11. You know, the ability to just take in the news and just accept it as fact and live your life by it. You know, and you see the things come down the pike like the Patriot Act, and no one putting up any kind of resistance to the tyranny that's going on.
9/11 2.0.
2.0 right here, you know, and it's to think that it's gonna stop here is ridiculous. You know, they're gonna just keep bringing the heat with things that are completely fake. You know, it just like we're living in a production that really
Yep.
it has many acts to it. You know, and it's gonna
Indeed.
keep getting, you know, they're going to be aliens. There's going to be all kinds of existential threats that are invisible, completely invisible. We know that that's the MO. Yeah, it's fear. And if you can't break yourself out of the fear-based mind control, then you're just gonna let it drive you into the ground, you know?
For sure, Christian. All right, you know what? I hate the fact that I have to end the show soon because I am loving this conversation and everything that you're saying, and we are about to start recording. So I have to start to wrap it up within a few minutes. But before I do, I wanted to just point out the fact that you put out that song, COVID's a Lie, right at the beginning, and it just it makes me so mad that they took that song down, because that cements in history that we knew it was up from the very, very beginning. And that's why I'm always trying to study human behavior and how people's brains are different. Go ahead, Nachiketa, because this is going to be your last and only chance to talk before I end the stream.
Oh no, I mean, well, everybody I think is on the same page about it, and you got to make a decision for sure. And I think everybody here has already made a decision to not take the test, not accept the vaccine, and all that. And there's nothing much we can really do. There are people who are, our family members and friends who are going to take the vaccine, and we can do our best, of course, but we have to be very firm with ourselves about what our beliefs are. I think that's, at least for me, that's the most important thing, and understand why I believe what I do, and why I do anything at all. So I think as long as people are very good in their understanding of what that is, I think that should be the foundation upon which they can operate from. So anyways, thank you for having me. I just wanted to say hi anyway.
Yeah, I'm
Great
so glad
hearing you, Nach.
we have
Awesome
to
to
catch
hear you.
up and plan a time plan a time in advance, so that when you join, it's not the end of a show, because you guys are awesome. I want to talk to Christian and Nachiketa for as long as I got to talk to Jen, but I'm so glad that today I got to talk for a very long time, just girl on girl with Jen. Waters Above. Check her out. She does streams with Zulu One as well. And then Christian Knapp is my favorite flat earth musician of all time, and he does the world's best cover of the Poppycock Report, written by Trey Clark, and he is just the fucking best, and has a brand new show with Awesome Austin called The Melodome. And so I want everyone to go to, whose channel is it on? Awesome Austin or yours?
Yeah, it's on Austin's channel, Awesome Austin, and let's see, it should be in the link in the chat somewhere. He might be on now, but yeah, it's on his channel, and it's just this Friday we're gonna be doing some stuff on Tartaria and mud floods, and it's gonna be good time.
Really super
we
fast.
do discussion, take phone calls, yeah.
Really super fast. I just want to say that I am so blessed to be here with all of you lovely people, Rose, Christian, and Nachiketa. I am so thankful to be here with you all, and I love you all. Thank you.
We love you too.
Yeah. It's great. We all have each other. I'm very happy that we have a group of people who can support each other in some way, at least emotionally.
Yeah, Christian, you were saying that you are going to be doing some streams, and I'm going to be a guest very soon. We haven't figured it out yet. And really quickly, I just want to say that Saltwater Bear has been in the private chat here, joined pretending to be working at work in a hospital in Massachusetts, and has never, ever worn a mask. Mind you, gotta remind you, it's in a hospital, so that's very impressive. So I'm very sad that we couldn't see you or talk to you verbally, but thank you for also standing up. And then
I would love to I'd love to get together with Saltwater Bear. He's in Boston. I'm just 20 miles from there, so hit me up.
Yeah, I hope Salty Water Bear knows. Oh wait, you guys can communicate in the private chat right here to exchange information. So Christian Knapp, Nachiketa,
Awesome.
and Waters Above, and then all you guys are awesome. Thank you for being here today. And then Christian and Awesome Austin have a show together called The Melodone on Awesome Austin's channel. I'm really hoping that people linked it in the chat, because when I typed Awesome Austin into the search bar of YouTube just now, guess what the other incorrectly spelled Awesome Austin does? He is an overeater, and just all he does is eat large amounts of food on camera. So don't go there. All right, guys. So anyway, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Everyone remember to look up towards the sky. We today are going to record. Oh, yeah, that's another thing that's so interesting, because Saltwater Bear said that. I don't even know if you're a girl or a boy, but you should let me know. Because, Gina Swina, I think you might be a girl. Wait, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, you were saying here that you want Crow and Jason to do more in-depth shows on astrology and more on the breakdown of the tarot. Well, guess what we're recording today with Ben Balderson. Ben Balderson, on my request, because I couldn't find anyone that satisfied me, and believe me, there's a lot of motherfuckers out there that make videos and talk about the tarot, but for what we wanted to address, I just couldn't. So I talked to Ben Balderson. Okay, it's already, okay, I gotta go. But I talked to Ben Balderson, and I was like, I need your help. And so he did comparative research on a bunch of different decks, keeping in mind the alchemical journey, and that's the basis of the episode. So the tarot has all of this astrological and alchemical symbolism, and that's what the episode is going to be about. And it's going to start recording any minute, and I'm just going to go. So thank you, everyone. Wait, Christian Knapp came back, and I just love you so much that I can't end the stream without saying goodbye.
Hey, I somehow got disconnected, but I just wanted to try to get back to talk to Salty Water Bear from Boston.
Right, that's a good thing. Good idea.
He's in the chat, yes. Is that right?
Yeah, so go to the private chat on that side of your screen where it says comments, banners, brand, and then private perfect. Chat. And then you guys could all communicate. What a wonderful thing. And then also, I'm glad this happened, because maybe this will give incentive for more people to have the courage to click on that link. Because you know what? Even if I add you to the stream, you can always just keep yourself muted and your camera off, and you could just sit there. And you can sit there backstage. You could say in the private chat, don't add me, I'm just sitting here. And you could slowly inch your way to confidence to join us on the show and harness that essence of Earl, and so that we can all share our ideas, because I care about what everyone has to say. So I love you, Christian. Love you, Nachiketa. Love you, Waters Above, and everyone in chat. And now I'm going to go do this. And I love you. Bye.
Embrace the essence.